The Yard podcast. And if you're listening to this on our streaming platforms or on YouTube, thank you for listening. And hopefully everybody enjoys this episode. And hopefully everybody enjoyed that previous episode with Carson Michaels. And everybody heard the stories that you probably didn't heard from Carson Michaels, especially what's the future plans of WWA. But now, we're not going to be talking about WWA, but instead, we're going to be talking about someone else that you probably may not heard of. This person has held the WCEF champion for 401 days. Also, former global champion. He may be known as Savior, but he is my friend, so I'm going to call him Trey. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend, Trey.
Thank you. Thank you for that warm introduction, except we're not going to talk about the little botches that happen right before you went live. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I apologize. Heck, I haven't botched on Beyond the Yard. Wow. I mean, everybody botches. Apologize.
Yeah, for sure. But thank you for having me here. I think it was maybe a few months back, where I was talking to the one and only. I'm a plug his name in there, like Mr. Apache King.
Okay.
We were talking, and he was like, "Hey, if you were interested of expanding your horizons on like backyard wrestling, like there's this guy, his name's Derrick Destroyer, ACW. That's when you came in, and like first comes Derrick Destroyer, here comes me, like getting introduced to all these other guys, like the guys who pretty much paved the way for backyard wrestling. You know, guys like like guys like Maximus Roman or like Matt Thunder. I mean, like these are guys I didn't even like know about until like maybe a couple months ago, which is like, interesting. Because like I remember he showed me like that. I forgot which one it was, but it was like maybe one of the first times Matt Thunder and Max went at it, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? Like this is insane. And then I don't know, like it expanded my horizons, and now I'm somewhat I gotta say like a casual viewer of backyard wrestling. I'm not gonna tell you that. Oh, like I watch it in my meantime. I mean, like honestly, I wasn't even watching backyard wrestling semi consistently until like a couple months ago. Like more so, like I don't even cocky or anything. Like I more so just watch the WCEF sides of things.
Okay.
So like I'd be looking at that, but obviously I get most of my inspiration watch the shows like WWE or like AEW or like Impact or those different shows, like see what I could do to like have this savior character and like what could I use that these other people do and apply it to my moveset, to my character. So I'm just like, so like if I see like there's a reason why I do the whole, I don't know if you've seen it, like I do the whole Jericho Judas effect, like that's like inspired by that, or like I'll pop out like the kill switch or
I think I've seen a few clips of that. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm like inspiration all over the place, man.
That's pretty nice. Yeah, one thing I was gonna say, you brought up that you kind of got inspiration from WWE or AEW or Impact, you know?
Yeah.
Like for example, like we get inspiration like if we want to like do a storyline kind of similar to that, or like have a character arc similar to that. You know, we could do it on backyard wrestling, or better yet, we could create a storyline that WWE or AEW hasn't used yet, and that's what's cool thing about backyard wrestling, because like if you create that storyline, no one's gonna criticize you. I mean, people could criticize you, but like they can't take that away from you because you're making that storyline, not them.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think like a really, really crucial part of backyard wrestling is story, because like if the viewers don't have anything to sink their teeth into, it's just a match. It's just a match. So like have like a really good story, you need to have like the climax of the story, and then you have the payoff, and the payoff is well. I mean, I think that the story more so, if it's like a really good story, but it's like a match. I mean, like it's not terrible because it's a really good story, but man, like it's still like crucial. Because like for example, I don't know if like any of the viewers are, I don't know if they're that familiar with WCF, but a year ago we had a storyline. It was I was a WCF champion, Savior, versus another guy. His name's Red X, And so we had this storyline where, okay, Saber's the WCF champion, unstoppable. Red X, however, just retired King, just beat our guy Warrior. So what's next? So we have a triple threat match. Saber defends, he wins. Then at the end, it's his music plays. It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then we build it off of Red X has gone his entire career being a complete tyrant, disrespecting everybody in his way. And then he comes to Saber, the WCF champion, and disrespects him. Saber's about to hit it. Saber's about to cut a promo. And so he interrupts him. Completely just interrupts him, disrespects the hell out of Saber. And then all Saber says is, actions have consequences. So that being said, Saber goes and attacks Red X's father, but not because he wanted to, just because in his eyes, Red X made him. Like, Red X has gone his entire career and everybody, but he's not going to go and disrespect Saber, the champion. So he beats up his dad, completely makes his life a living hell. Then you have the payoff. And I don't know if anyone's ever seen this ever in their life before, but I like to believe that me and Red X put on probably one of the best matches that doesn't really get too much attention in backyard wrestling. It was Saber versus Red X for the WCW title at Broken 2. And that was it was one hell of a payoff. I mean, we did another match after, but like that match right there, just like the storytelling, the story, just the story itself. The story is everything. So I just want to just put that out there.
Okay. I remember at the beginning of this episode, you stated that, you just started watching, I think you said Maximus Roman versus Matt Thunder.
Yeah.
And, like, were you thinking about, like, whoa, like, were these wrestlers from different federation, like, having a match? Or what was going on from there?
I was like, okay, like, maybe – so, like, I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch too much of it. But okay. I know enough to the point where you look at a guy like Maximus Roman, small guy, and he completely owned that bitch. Like, completely. Bro was intense. Bro was just everything that personifies a professional wrestler. And it's Matt Thunder, I'm not sure what he was, heel babyface, but he was there, and it was bringing back that intensity. And it's like, I mean, I see these guys, and I'm like, my God, like, I think Thunder went indie not too long ago. I mean, I don't think he does this anymore. But I'm like, wow, like, what if, because, like, I remember I've gotten compared to him before, but, like, by Apache King. And I was like, yeah, your son's off the charts, almost as good as Matt Thunder. And I'm like, okay, Matt Thunder. And then I got looked into his matches, and I'm just like, man, this guy's really good. And I'm like, oh, damn, he went indie. Like, would have been badass. Like,
true.
It's like, looking back on this, I'm like, Xavier and guys from different federations, like, imagine. Just imagine.
I'm imagining. Go ahead.
I think it'd be like, I don't know, like Matt Thunder, Maximus Roman. I mean, like, there's some guys I could only wish I can get to the ring with, like, this instant. There's guys like the retired Jack Delta, who I wish I could have gotten in there with. I've said I wanted to get in there with RJS. Yeah.
For real.
I want to run it back with Jacob Wayne again eventually.
For real.
Your recent guest, Carson Michaels, I've gone through a little bit of his stuff. Solid. It'd be cool. It'd be great to get in the ring with him. And then I know, I remember Apache King, you showed me your channel. I watched a little bit of stuff. I remember watching that one match with, I think his name's Caution, right?
Okay, Caution, yes.
Yeah, that dude Caution. Yeah. I watched that. I was like, like, with the right story, with the right everything.
It took 3 years, but yeah, we pulled it off.
2 years. I mean, like, I can 1,000. I can kind of relate to that because I remember me and Jacob were supposed to go at it a while ago, but then, like, scheduling conflicts were kind of just like, oh, we can't. And then when we finally had everything filmed, people were like, oh, is Xavier and Jacob Wayne still gonna go down? And we're like, no, I'm sorry, man. Like, it's gonna have to be a hard no. Then the next video, he pops up. So that was nice.
Yeah. I would always rate, well, so at the moment, unless if something else comes up in the future, I would always rate, Derrick Destroyer versus Caution the Virus. Probably like one of my top 5 best matches in the yard because not only the match but the story. Because 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I don't know, but you get the idea. So a few years ago, I met this kid online. TWF. Ooh, I was like, oh, who's this? Then I'm like, oh, I left a comment. I was like, hey, you guys are pretty cool. I was interested if I could contact you guys. They probably left a like or something. Then next week or so, they did a Q&A. And I was like, oh, what if I left a question? Hopefully they'll answer it and say it on the channel. Then they said, what if we did, a match, you and I? Then it was like, hell yeah, let's do it. So after that, him and I, we started, getting to know each other, started talking about it. So in this phase, we weren't friends yet. We were just, two YouTubers just getting to know each other, So throughout his show and my show, we would call each other out. So that will keep, building up the story. Then when we were supposed to have our match in that summer, he didn't show up because he probably couldn't, travel because with finances and whatnot. So we kind of had to delay it until next year. But what we didn't know was next year was, 2020. And we all know how that year went.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of not a bad year, but it wasn't the right year. I mean, not that it was a bad year, but like I kind of had some downs in that year. Like, for example, I dislocated my knee. I got shaved on YouTube. So, yeah, that was a fun experience. So we're talking, hey, whatever happens, I still haven't given up on this. So I don't know how long it will take. I'm still down to travel to North Carolina. And it was like, okay, bet. So last year, the summer of 2021, I went to Iowa because that's where I went to go work with horses in the tracks. Yeah. And since that moment when I traveled, I had my own set of wheels. I was working, I almost made like almost 1,000 a week, just like 4 or 5 hours in the morning.
Jesus Christ. Couldn't be me, man. Couldn't be me.
So what I did, I had to like bust my ass saving that money because I had a dream that I wanted to travel to North Carolina, not only to have a match because, I made a promise to everybody, but like, I don't like to let people down when I say that I want to do this. Like, if I tell someone that, I'm down to do this, then I'm down to do it. Sure, like, there might be some delations or something comes up, but that's okay because that's life. You can't predict the future. No one can. Yeah. So you always have to be prepared. If you're not prepared, then, find another route. Just because the road is blocked doesn't mean you can't progress. You could always find another path around the road. So the moral of the story is never give up. John Cena, pretty much.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Fucking Cena mark. Like, I know you're one of those little kids that had that whole shirt. Like, oh my God.
How dare you? Just because I have a John Cena hat that says never give up and a John Cena shirt that says respect, earn it. How dare you?
Oh, man. I hear you. No, I get it. 2020, man. 2020 was a year. 2020 was ridiculous. I mean, like, I think if it wasn't for 2020, I don't even think I'd be sitting here with you right now, like, at all.
I know.
I remember it was like peak COVID-19, and then I remember like, me and my friends, we got together and we were like, what if we brought back WCEF? We were like, all right. But like, one of my biggest regrets ever is I didn't get popular until I was already out of high school, and I was already like doing all these things, and I'm just like, why can't it? Imagine how great it would have been if I like popped off when I was like 16 or something. It's like it would have been like a nice little run. But
like if you were in high school and like people were starting to get to know you and like you were popular because of your channel. Is that what you mean, or?
No. I mean like, man, I lost my train of thought. My bad.
Oh, I apologize. My bad.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like it. I just wish we were able to continue doing this, or like we were able to like stay consistent is what I mean. Because like we started this in 2016.
Okay.
And it was really just like a bunch of like, okay, but like I was saying, like it's like, I mean, and like I think to myself, it's like it sucks. It sucks like we it took COVID for all of us to come back. I mean, it sucks that having all this, getting all this like recognition didn't happen until after high school
Mm-hmm.
because I knew at this point, like the following year, once I was like back at, once COVID ended, I was gonna head to actual university rather than a community college and stay
Okay.
over there, like do my own thing. And I'm just like, man. And then like this past, I remember 2020 to 2021 was one hell of a year, and it almost made me sad having to walk away because I'm just like, man, like backyard wrestling has become such a part of my life. And
For
it's just
real.
like unreal. Meeting all these people, having a dream match with Jacob Wayne, like all this shit. And it's like, man, I have to step away from this for now. And it's like, fuck. You know what I mean?
Uh huh. Like, sure, you could just move on, but like, you can't. Like, yourself inside can, because it's
Yeah.
something about backyard that makes you feel special.
Yeah. I mean, like, I remember talking to you a few times, like the other day before, and I was
Right. Right.
like, this is like like not in a scale. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. My life is, I like where my life's at right now. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But
Mm-hmm.
then there's some times where like you want to like escape, and it's like,
True.
okay, right now, I'm Trey, but then for like a couple few hours of filming time, I'm not me. I'm Savior, on
For
top of
real.
the world, the WCF champion, the man, and then it's just something surreal about being a backyard wrestler. I mean, like it's like it's not even. I'd like to say it's corny to say, but personally, I mean, I don't, I don't care. Like it's become part of my life. I mean, like how many backyard wrestlers can go and say, oh, someone from Cal? Well, I'm pretty sure not a lot, but I mean, like how many like actual like 17, 18-year-old human beings can be like, I fought one of the most well-known guys from California, had him come down our turf with a
Mm-hmm.
live crowd, like cheering us on, having probably one of the best matches I've ever had in my entire life. I mean, like, who can
For real.
say like for our biggest match or for our biggest pay-per-view ever, we got a bunch of people, put canopies over them, and they watched us all perform our hearts out. I mean, like, who can really
Nice.
like those are memories. Those are memories that'll live with you forever. I mean, like, no matter how old you are, it's hard to.
Uh
I guess
huh.
in a way, it's hard to step away because, like, truth be told, like, I was originally gonna retire after Do or Die. Like, I know, like, some people know what Do or Die is. Like, I was gonna retire, and I was like, I can't. Like,
Mm-hmm.
something about it. It's just hard because it's become such a like part of your life. I mean, like there's school, there's work, there's college, then there's backyard wrestling. I mean, like
For
it's
real.
silly. I mean, like guys walking, like running, like all over a trampoline, fake fighting. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it sounds dumb on paper, but like when you actually do it, when you experience it, it's like, holy shit,
For real. They don't
this is
know
happening.
our world, you know?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Like, for example, I remember when I was back in school, I used to be criticized because, okay,
Yeah.
the wrestling team, like, they would say, oh, why don't you join, the real wrestling leagues where we wrestle for real? But, like, with me, I wouldn't consider myself as a wrestling mark. I mean, sure, I'm a big fan, but I wouldn't see myself that because, I still, when I watch wrestling, I like to act like a kid because, if you love to believe in a lot of stuff, then that's how you
Yeah.
could feel more into it, if that makes sense. Like if you watch a movie and you're not into it, then,
It's like,
you're not
what's
going
the
to
point?
have, how do you say it? Have fun watching it, pretty much. So in the story, I didn't really care what those guys said. Sure, they actually competed in front of, live crowds and all that, but we actually compete in front of the whole world, believe it or not,
Mm-hmm.
even though if it's
Yeah.
just on front of the camera. But, our films, our matches, our episodes, everybody has it worldwide. Even our friends from CMW, I'm going to give them a little shout out. Those guys, they put on great matches. Tom Nicholas and BXB, especially with those acrobatics, I think that's the word. They do a
Yeah.
lot of flips and shit, and I'm amazed by them. Like, I'm just a boy. I mean, I wouldn't say a boy since I'm 18. I'm just a guy from Kansas who's watching backyard wrestling from guys wrestling on the trampoline from Australia. And if
Yeah.
they could do crazy stuff like that, and keep in mind they're in Australia, they're not in the States with us, in the United States, so it's kind of hard for them to, like, they can't experience what we can experience. Like, they can still do whatever they want over there, but they won't necessarily have the chance to experience what we're feeling like, where we get to do like big crossovers and all that. Physically, I mean,
Yeah.
nah, digitally. But, the wrestling team, like, I earned the respect after I went to North Carolina because they didn't believe me when I said, I'm going to North Carolina to wrestle another guy on the trampoline. Like how you said, it sounds stupid on paper, but when you actually do it and when you actually show them results, they're amazed. Like last time when I saw them, I think it was, I don't know, I think it was a party. Like some of the wrestlers from the high school, they were like, "Hey, you're the guy from the backyard who went to North Carolina to get his ass kicked." I mean, sure, I did get my ass kicked. I got bruised throughout the match, and they were like, "Hey, bro, I just want to say I'm sorry for the stuff I said. I know things were just caught in the heat of the moment, but if you're that dedicated into it, go for it. I believe in you." Then,
Hmm.
so what I'm trying to say is, in life, don't show people your plans, but show them your results.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, I mean, people they'll clown you. They'll say whatever. Like, oh, you're just
Mm-hmm.
watching little kids on a trampoline, or you're fake fighting on a trampoline. I mean, like they don't know the story behind it. It's like
For
it's a
real.
whole no. Once they understand our world, I mean, they'll think it's pretty fucking badass. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like that one episode of South Park when the guys, I'm not good with the characters, but I remember watching it. So the
Yeah.
guys, they go into an episode of WWE. So they see John Cena versus Edge. They kick each other. Then the boys, they come out. They're like, bro, that was awesome. We should do something like that. So like,
Yeah.
as tomorrow, once we get to school, we're gonna sign up to the wrestling team. So they go to the school wrestling tryouts, and they're wearing those wrestling, attires, those um
Yeah.
amateur
Yeah.
outlets and whatnot. Then the coach is like, "Okay, guys, I'm gonna show you the official wrestling position." Then Carmen, he's like, "What the fuck is this?" He's like, "No, bro, that's gay. No, I don't want to be grabbing the dude like that."
Yeah.
Then they quit. Then they start doing backyard wrestling. Then some rednecks, from the background, they're like, "Hey, yo, guys, you gotta check this out. Some kids are beating each other up in their backyard." Then the whole town comes up and all that. Then the coach's life is destroyed because they think he's like a pedophile or whatnot for touching kids or something like that. And he's sad because people think that wrestling is what they're doing, like backyard wrestling.
Yeah.
But that's a little joke I like to say to people who don't understand wrestling because, like, there's wrestling, like the Olympic wrestling. Then there's wrestling, pro wrestling, which is story based telling.
Yeah.
And one thing I liked about what Chris Jericho said one time is that wrestling is like Shakespeare. It's all about story.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember he
Not a
said that
lot
in
of
his.
people understand that, but when you compare pro wrestling with Shakespeare, then a lot of people will understand it because you
Yeah,
get
I,
you have a face and a heel, and it works because especially this time's modern time. Like Shakespeare, like you had, I don't know what Shakespeare had, but like it was those like fantasized characters where this guy, he was rich and powerful, so he was the bad guy. Then you have the poor weak guy, and he was the good guy. Then like they have a fight at the end or something like that.
yeah.
But that's the way I see wrestling is Shakespeare. Oh, here's the quote: If Shakespeare was alive, yeah, if Shakespeare was alive
You're
today,
writing
he would
wrestling
be
shows.
writing wrestling shows. Yes,
Yeah,
that's a good ass quote right there.
yeah. The best in the world, Chris Jericho. Could have
For
said any
real,
better myself.
for real. Would you say? I don't think I asked you this question, but let me ask you the question anyways. What got you into wrestling?
Um. Okay, so funny story. Like, so me being ridiculous or whatever. I remember my cousin was playing. I think it was SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, and it was like he'd be doing like triple threats and stuff. And it was like Cena, Taker, and like Triple H or something. So like I knew of wrestling, but like I didn't really like know wrestling. But like me, however, it was like okay. So I knew Dwayne Johnson was a really good actor. He was a great actor. And I remember my dad, like, he watches wrestling. He was like, oh, you know, he used to wrestle? I'm like, oh, that's cool. So, like, I was flipping through channels, and I remember I went to that one episode. It was like this one episode whenever The Rock was announced as a special guest for WrestleMania 27 or something like that.
In 2011. I
And
remember that.
yeah, I remember I
Wait,
watched
hang
that.
on. I'm sorry, but I got to pause you right there. So you told me you knew not The Rock, but Dwayne Johnson, the actor. So you knew him before wrestling?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never
ridiculous.
knew.
Yeah. So, like,
Because
I remember I'd be watching, like, The Tooth Fairy, like, The Game Plan. I'd be watching, like, a bunch of these other, like,
I know
movies
those
and stuff.
films.
I was like, oh, Dwayne Johnson. Like, we're chilling. Like, Dwayne Johnson's awesome. And my dad was like, oh, you know, he used to wrestle? I'm like, wait, what? So then, you know, I found that I was searching. I see this guy. I'm like, wait, is that him? He's, like, completely bald. And I was like, yo, what the fuck?
For real.
Yeah, that was, like,
No,
the
I'm
first
saying
time,
that because like kids nowadays, like, you know, I call Dwayne Johnson The Rock because of wrestling, but other people call him Dwayne Johnson because of acting. I will always know him as The Rock from WWE or WWF. I can't see him as Dwayne Johnson unless if he's in a movie. And if he's in a movie, he'll be Dwayne Johnson. But in the wrestling world, he's gonna be The Rock. If that makes sense. Like I see The Rock and Dwayne Johnson different because The Rock is a different character compared to Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson is an actor that kind of has The Rock's personality in the movies. Like, the thing I kind of hate about today's society, not that it's bad, but people will know him as the number one top actor. I mean, I guess it's good for him because he's well known and all that.
Yeah.
And the thing that kind of pisses me off is that people call him the Fortnite guy. Which, you know, a lot of noobs, they call him that because they play a lot of Fortnite. But I will always know him as The Rock, even if he doesn't have hair anymore.
Yeah, for sure. And, like, I remember I was watching that little segment and I was like, oh, this is cool. Never watched wrestling again until, like, I think my first match was, I think it was around the time CM Punk and John Cena were feuding for they were feuding for the title. And I remember, I think I tuned in for the main event. And it was whenever Rey Mysterio had the strap and he faced John Cena and he had that whole, like, title reign for, like, a day. And I was like, the fuck is this?
I know.
But, like, I know my first match was John Cena versus Rey Mysterio for the WWE title. That was the first ever match. I remember CM Punk came at the end. They held up the two belts. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, two belts? Like, how did this happen? And then, like, later as years went on, I'm just like, I didn't expect wrestling to be part of my life like this. Like, it's really insane to say. And, like, I remember I'd be watching and, like, suddenly Chris Jericho, I know this is, like, around the time Jericho wasn't there. And I remember Jericho popped up. I'm like, oh, like, this guy's cool. And, like, Jericho to me is, like, probably my favorite of all time. Like, anything Jericho did, like, just amazing. I mean, like, I remember I kind of, like, I took inspiration from his character and applied it to myself. I mean, like, I use the Judas effect. I'll hit the code breaker. I'll do the walls, Jericho. I mean, like, I do all that shit. So, honestly, like, that. And I remember, like, other guys, too. Like, CM Punk got me into wrestling as well. Like, amazing. I remember Christian, specifically. It was always Edge and Christian. But, like, for me, for a lot of people, it was always Edge. But for me, it was always Christian. Like, just something about that the underdog. Like, him being, like, billed as, like, overrated. Like, I watched seeing what he's done in, like, TNA, winning their world title, and I'm like, damn, like, this guy's, I don't know, this guy's a little more relatable to me than Edge. But I mean, that was just me personally. I know, like, there was CM Punk the Rebel, like, that honestly, part of, like, the way I talk, like, promos and stuff, like, it's, like, kind of taken after him. So, like, I'd like to say, like, my inspiration: Jericho, Christian, CM Punk. Top 3, easy.
Man, I actually like those choices. That's a nice list right there.
Yeah.
I remember, I mean, I don't think I talked on this on the podcast, but we talked to each other before, and you're in college right now, right?
Yeah. I'm a junior in college right now at a university. Actually, I reside in San Antonio.
what was it gonna? So you graduated in 2020, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. During COVID year. Wow.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. I remember it was they had us. Okay, so our school, it was a small town, like maybe south of San Antonio, I think, something like that.
Okay.
And our graduating class was literally 70 kids. It was a 3A school, so like they had us all like, it was really weird. It was, we were in rows, not in rows. Yeah, we were in rows, and we were
Mm-hmm.
all social distance, and it was just, it's a really weird feeling. Like 2020
I
was
know.
just a really weird fucking year, especially graduating. I mean, it was like, wow, like I'm not gonna get the last 2 months of my senior year, so I never got, excuse me, I never got prom. I never got like a senior
Damn.
skip day. So I mean, like,
They pulled you
prom was
right
like,
under your feet. Wow.
yeah, for sure, dude. Like I remember back, and it was just like we're chilling. And the next week, it was spring break. The next week, oh, school's canceled. UIL sports are discontinuing sports for the remainder of the year. I'm like, god dang. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember we were supposed to go back in May. We were supposed to go back in April. They were supposed to go back in May. Then it was like, we're done. So I'm like, oh wow. So that's it, I guess.
For real.
So yeah, that was my whole
I mean, I would
senior
have still
experience.
been. Oh, that your senior experience, you said?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I wish I had a senior experience because I would have graduated this year, believe it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you told me.
But I graduated last year, 2021, the class of 2021,
Mm-hmm.
because, I wanted to be out of school already because if I was still in school, I wouldn't have done the stuff that I've already done. Like, for example, travel to North Carolina. I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have a job that would have made me a lot of money. I wouldn't have done that if I was in school. I wouldn't have a lot of privileges if I was still in school. Because school, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I love school. Not because of the classes, because they kind of piss me off because the assignments are a bit boring. The
Yeah.
teachers will keep saying shenanigans like lava underground is called magma. Well, meanwhile, I'm trying to learn how to pay my taxes back here.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like the geometry bullshit. It's like, when the fuck
For
am
real.
I gonna know how to go like square R root of fucking, I don't know. It's ridiculous, man.
For
And I
real.
take accounting classes in college. Like, you'd think
Uh-huh.
I'd be used to math at this point, but I'm awful at math. Fun fact, Xavier's terrible at math.
Wow. That explains. So, one half of a brain plus another half of a brain equals what? A full brain? A savior's brain? Or what?
Practically. Yeah, practically.
I mean, I guess American history is all right because me and my friend, we always like to, say dank memes about it, like JF
Mhm.
Kennedy, an example.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a good president, but the stuff that me and my friend said about that class, it was, outrageous, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
But 2021, I graduated that year. I only went to prom once. I didn't really do any sports in high school. In middle school, I did cross country and track
Oh, okay.
because
Okay.
I guess it helped me stay fit. But ever since I got into high school, I didn't really do sports because I was too busy with ACW. Because not only ACW, we get to be athletic, we get to be outside, we get to be active, but I also got to learn how to, be creative. So I got to use some creative writing while doing ACW of using storylines. I got to learn how to use camera. So, I used the class on how to shoot with cameras. So I used, some knowledge onto ACW. And I also learned how to edit and Photoshop to make thumbnails in school. So I could learn how to do it, outside of school. So like if I want to do projects on Efrenation, my gaming channel, or ACW, boom, I have all that skill right there. And if I was still in
Yeah.
school, I would have done so much stuff. But
Uh-huh.
like how you said, I wouldn't change anything because everything's going all well at the moment. Like I feel like I'm doing well where I'm at. No,
Yeah.
I had no problem. Yo, Trey.
Yeah. What's up?
So, what would you say is your future projects at the moment?
Um, I think, okay, so like at this point, at the time of recording for WCF, I literally just came back. Like, Saber just returned to WCF, and in the next week or so, depending when this goes out, WCF Warfare is the next. Excuse me. I'm 19 years old and I still have voice cracks. It's ridiculous. But we have WCEF Warfare. It's going to be matches that last all the way through, and let me tell you, you're not going to want to miss this Warfare. But we'll get to Warfare in a little bit. I'll touch back up on it.
Okay.
But in terms of like future projects, I honestly it's endless at this point. But I know one thing's for sure: Saber's not done with WCF. It's not done in Backyard Wrestling. I mean, there's like still a lot I want to do. I mean, like being in there with like some of the new guys that WCF came and brought in. I mean, like it was amazing. I remember some of the guys know about Tamatoa. Me and Tamatoa have a back and forth in the Warfare match. Must see. I'm not gonna go too into detail because Mark and Ryan would literally whoop my ass if I went and spoiled it. So this Saturday, upcoming Saturday, Saber returns in the Warfare match. Don't miss it. I know eventually I want to bring Jacob Wayne back so we can run it back. That's another match. So that's another match I want to have Saber get his win back. I will beat you. I will beat you as Jacob Wayne. Promise to God. I remember we have WCF Do or Die. That's like our WrestleMania. It's supposed to be pretty big. I know that'll be maybe filmed around June. Not sure what's going to go down there, but however, we're still working on it. Honestly, it might be about it at this point. I mean, there's some guys. Hey, man, by all means, if guys want to come and reach out to me and we can run it, hey, by all means, just give me about a month so I can get my cardio back up. Because, college is a lot to, man. Like, let me tell you, I mean, like, living in a dorm, too, I mean, like, half of your diet is, like, fast food. But, like, wow. I don't gain anything. Like, I don't gain weight. It's just, like, impossible for me to gain weight. Like, I can eat two whole-ass pizzas, and I just won't gain anything. But
I know that feeling.
Yeah, but future project-wise, I guess TBA, to be announced, I guess.
You're right, to be announced. And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know what's going on in WCEF, the link will be down in the description. So there you go, Trey.
Thank you. If you weren't going to plug that, I was going to be like, hey, yo, so sub the WCF. Like, I'm not going to say we're great. I'm going to say we're amazing at what we do. We do this for each and every one of you. All of you guys that are watching, especially Apache King, thank you for the continued support. And I hope wherever you're listening to this, going to work, at your job, on the shitter, I hope you're having a great day.
For Apache King, he's a real one. He's one of our, fans. He's like,
exactly.
He's kind of like that one green guy shirt from WWE, if you notice, on the front shirt.
Literally.
For real.
Literally. No, bro, dog. Apache King, some of the best wrestling takes ever, dog. Like, I've even talked to him personally. He was like telling me, nice. Hey, yo, when are you coming back? But like, holy shit, bro. Like, I couldn't have put it any better. But like, honestly, he's part of the reason why I'm still doing this. Like, literally, it's insane. I remember he told me about you in your podcast, and I was just like, oh, like that'd be cool. I remember I showed you little clips of like what I do and stuff. It was like, hey, you should come on. And I'm like, hey, yo, bet. And now here we are. So
yeah,
shout out to Mr. Apache King, who's actually had kidney surgery. So he's been going through a little bit.
I did not know that.
Yeah, man's been going through it a lot, but
speed recovery, man.
Yeah, speed recovery. And I guess shout out to Mr. Okay, so we had our little deal. It was like a King of the Ring type deal.
Okay.
So, but we called it the Apache King of the Ring or trampoline, but it's not. I don't know why Mark called it a trampoline. It's a ring. To us, it's a ring. But the Apache King of the Ring, which was won by Tamatoa. So we were like, yeah.
So it was a nice tribute to him, Apache King.
Yeah. That was a nice tribute. It was the Apache King of the Ring.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice tribute.
Yeah.
So this episode is dedicated to the Apache King, wherever you're listening to. Here's the episode.
Exactly. Let's get back into it.
My next question was actually thoughts on WCEF, but like since we already talked about that, my next question is, what if you actually never became a backyarder?
I think it's kind of hard to explain or to even really talk about because it's like, I don't know. I really don't know where my life would be at right now. I mean, like, I want to say that being a backyarder has really, like, helped me grow more confident, like, with myself, like not only in front of a camera, but just in general. Because like
Well,
I'm not gonna lie to you, like I remember it was me having a job and me backyarding had really like
okay.
brought me to be more bold, more confident. So like I think without it, I mean I'd like to think I'd be about the same, but all those constant promos, like knowing how to converse and like just speak,
Mm-hmm.
like speaking in front of people, like that's kind of like helped me. Like when I had to do like speeches at school, like this kind of helped me. Like writing papers, like the way I talk in promos, like that helped me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it helped me further expand my vocabulary and whatnot. And so like I'd like to think I'd be a little, eh, I'd be the same. I'm not gonna lie, but well, where would I be without it? Just a little. Eh.
True. I mean, I'm not saying it made a big impact, but it did made an impact in your life, or it didn't.
Oh yeah, for sure it did. I mean, without this, I would have never met the amazing people I've come across. I mean, guys like Jack Delta, guys like RJS, who've been so cool, so down to earth. Guys like Jacob Wayne, so down to earth. Those are just the main three I've talked to. And there's you, like it's crazy how guys from all over the world just you could share so
True.
much in common with.
Uh huh. The thing I like about this is what I just thought of right now. The thing I like about Beyond the Yard, it's like a puzzle, and I guess I'm
Yeah,
putting it together. I guess like it's a
yeah.
big ass puzzle, and I'm trying to find the right pieces. And I'm not saying it goes in order or whatnot, but this is sometimes
Mhm.
pure random. But so like I get one puzzle, so you for example, and I put it in the puzzle or in the box set, whatever. Then I start. So what I'm trying to say,
Mhm.
even though it kind of sounds confusing, but what I'm trying to say in reality is that I'm bringing you into Beyond the Yard so people could have a chance to get to know you and have a
Mhm.
chance to get to know WCEF.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a cool thing that I thought about Beyond the Yard. It helps get to bring people that other people don't know.
Mhm. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I like to. I mean, it's funny because like I remember I'd be getting all this praise. I mean, like I'd be looking at the videos and be like, oh, like pulled another 1K video. I mean, like I'm completely grateful each and every one of you that watches WCF, like
Mm-hmm.
watch WCF. I mean, like it's crazy how me simply being myself, only just a little tad enhanced, like not a tad enhanced, a lot
Okay.
enhanced. Like, I'm not actually an asshole in real life, but
Mm-hmm.
um, just like getting those views, I'm like, wow, like these views are badass. And I go on to other channels, and I'm like, holy shit, these guys are almost like me, but they're like more popular than me. I'm like, oh my god, dog, like what the fuck? But
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I'm great. I'm grateful for all of this.
Well, the next question, I wouldn't want to say this because it might spoil the future events, but would you ever participate in a crossover? There was one.
Oh, yeah, I think it just depends on the timing.
True.
Because I remember, I'm not gonna try and spoil anything because like I know where you're going with this, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like some things happen to where some things just aren't possible, and just it sucks. I mean, like it'd be nice to cross over with guys. My God, that sounded weird, but it'd be nice to cross over with other companies, should I say? I know there's
I mean, I call it federations, but either way, it's the same thing.
there's other guys like I'd love to get in the ring with. I mean, I've for example, like there's the guy you had last episode, Carson Michaels. I think
Carson Michaels.
yeah. I mean, like I think did I call him the wrong name? Did I say Carson Michaels or did I call him
Mm,
something else?
I can't recall, but I'm pretty sure it's Carson Michaels. He was my previous
Yeah,
guest.
yeah. There's him. There's I remember what's it called? Who else was there? I think Maximus Roman was there. It would have been nice to get in there with him, like when he was there.
Right.
Uh, that's really the most I can think at the top of my head that were on your podcast. I mean, like there's guys like Jack Delta, who I wish I would have gotten in there with. Like I said, gonna keep
Uh huh.
saying it. Um, I'm yeah, pretty much. That's really much it. I know there's what's his name? Chris Storm. Chris Storm would be a really
Chris Storm.
really on the top of my list. Face him in the ring. RJS. I remember we were talking. We were like, hey, would you let's try and run it this year. I'm pretty booked, but I'm down. Like I'm up for it. So I'm like, I'd really love to get in the ring with RJS, and even that guy Swift from BTW, not BTW, yeah, BTW, Swift. Yeah. I've heard good things about him. He's an animal. It'd be dope to get in the ring with him.
I don't know if RJS is listening to this, but me and him were good bros. So we talk. Sometimes we'll be FaceTiming to see what's up. Yeah. We'll be telling each other some stories, sending each other some jokes of wrestling in general. But from when I started watching BTW, it might just been me, but like they kind of look tall from my point of view.
Yeah.
But when I got to talk to RJS, and when he told me about his height, I was surprised. I was like, wait, hang on, he's pretty much the same height as me, and that's crazy because when I look at his channel, he looks tall. But that's just crazy. I mean, that's how I saw when I saw RJS. I thought he was taller than me, but turned out we're pretty much almost the same height.
Yeah.
You know what would be a cool idea if we could do it in the yard?
What?
If we could probably do like another crossover with different federation. But
yeah.
I'm going to say this as a joke. But this could be our version of the multiverse,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You're right. I mean, like, I think it's cool having other guys from other federations. Like, I remember whenever we finally got Jacob Wayne and William Barker. We're gonna call Jacob William. Okay, we got him in. We brought him into our little trailer park. All right, no, not a trailer park, but we brought him to our backyard, and we were just there, and we're just talking. I mean, like so like their personas are more so like Jacob's serious. He's a badass, and then there's William. He's goofy, but he can also be serious.
Mm-hmm.
Just being with these guys outside, and then like just getting to know them on like a personal level, and then going in. Like, knowing damn well, it was Saber and Slayer. We had a match. It was okay. Then we went and here came the part where I was celebrating. I got attacked. These two guys in masks come and beat up Red X. And it's, like, so weird because, like, you're seeing it all unfold. Like, you're there looking in disbelief, like, as a character. But in your head, you're like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. It's Jacob and William. It's like, holy shit, holy shit. And then they take off the mask. My brother, once Jacob and William took off the mask, he's like, what the fuck? Oh my God, Jacob Wayne and William Barker are here. They're here. And I remember I'm just like, I'm trying to like not let the camera catch my face, but I'm like, chills run down my neck. And I'm just like, holy shit, it's happening. It's just happening. And it's like the hype around like doing these crossovers, like I don't know if like I know you might know like the feeling, but it's just like, holy shit, is this actually happening? It's like, what the fuck? And I remember like we had some other matches we did. Then I remember the main event, Saber versus Jacob Wayne. I remember me in my head. Okay, so funny story. Jacob actually puked right before we went out.
Wow. Believe it or not, did the same thing.
Yeah, Jacob was a wreck before we went out. Because I remember. Okay, so Worlds Collide. We started off. It was like a comedy. It was like a comedy skit. It was their comedy guys, El Pequeño and Kylo 10 versus El Spidey and Extinction. So we had fun with that. We're working the crowd. Then we had Barbados versus Slayer. That match completely shit the bed, but hey, it was another match. Then there was William Barker versus Red X. Barn burner of a match. I completely. I encourage you to watch it. Probably one of the most underrated, underappreciated matches, views-wise, in WCEF. So Worlds Collide, go check that out. Then I got to the main event. Jacob was legitimately pissing himself. He was like, bro, I've done matches before in front of people, but this is huge. And I was like, Doug, you're going to be okay. Then like I remember William was like, yeah, Jacob was trying his best to make weight for the match. And like, he was just a complete wreck. And I remember we're getting ready, and he was just like, bro, if I puke during the match, can you tell him to stop recording? I'm like, bro, hear me out. this match, we've been hyping this up for almost 2 years. There's no going back. We're going to go out there. We're going to kill it. The adrenaline's going to hit us, and we're going to have one of the best matches in backyard wrestling.
For real.
Hands down. And so we went out. He made his entrance. He looked a little scared, but then once they started cheering him, he finally got back into it. And it's like, then we had this really cool moment. I mean, it's really hard to put into words how great these moments were.
The thing you just said, that when he came out, he looked a bit scared.
Yeah, he was a little scared. Not gonna lie. I mean, like, but he came back because I watched the back. He looked like he was like, oh my god, like, what the fuck. But then, like,
I know that feeling.
In an instant, he puts his game face on, and it's like, that's fucking right. That's Jacob Wayne. We know.
For real. Like, I was nervous on my debut match on TBW, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. Mm-hmm. Like, so the Atomic Titan, he, does an open challenge match to anybody. So I come out, I accept the challenge. So if you look closely, when I walk up to the curtain, I do a smile because, I guess, Derrick is in TBW. But then I kind of changed my face, and you notice I changed my face. I'm like, whoa. And going inside, like, I felt so nervous. I'm like, damn, like, it's kind of like having your first match, but, like, not necessarily a live crowd, but, like, there were, like, people there. So, you didn't want to let them down, especially your first match. And, of course, that match, that was wrestling in a backyard ring. So I kind of had to change my format of wrestling, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because you go from like a trampoline to an actual ring.
Right. So I had to do my best because I didn't want to let these guys down, and I don't want them to be like, oh, this guy, he doesn't feel all right or something like that. But I did my best, and they were amazed by it. Like, I even did some moves that I didn't even knew that I did before, and it was outrageous. So I added them to my moveset now. But that match, like, especially the entrance, I remember that. I can remember it right now. Walking through the curtain, looking around, and I was like, whoa. I'm taking it all in because the moment I step into the ring, it's go time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm sure your friend that you stated that was a bit nervous, a bit scared going out, I mean, I pretty much know how he kind of felt.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is, like, the culmination of everything you've built up. And it's like, I can't mess this up. And then, like, the nerves just get to you, and you're just like, holy shit, what the fuck? And you're shaking. You want to throw up. And it's like, I don't know, like, me personally, I've never had stage fright. I've always been that kid that just, like, would go out and just act like an idiot in front of people. And I mean, like I say, like, be doing this has helped me grow confident in front of the camera, confident as a person. Because if this was me like 4 years ago, I'd be like still awkward. I'd be like, because I used to be an awkward kid, like awkward kid, like the typical awkward kid with braces. You know what I mean? Like, not in high school specifically, but like growing up, I was awkward.
Oh, you had those braces?
Like, oh yeah, I had braces like in my mouth. It was bad. Well, not bad, but
it might just be me. But every time I hear the word braces, I always think of Willy Wonka from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where he had like that helmet head braces set. I don't know if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like, my parents told me I should get braces, but like every time they mention that, that's what I always thought of. I mean, I don't have braces. I never got braces yet, but that's what I always think of.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's a good feeling. Like, all of it, all this is a good feeling.
Especially, I mean, I wouldn't say I got stage fright, but I mean, it's normal to have some nerves going on, or like blood pumping around your systems.
Yeah.
It's just,
I mean, like,
that's an adrenaline, like you said.
Yeah. Okay, so I think online, like, I don't know why I said online, for like live shows. Okay, so the feeling you get, like, it's hard to describe it. You're walking out, your music hits. You're like back there with your guy. You're with your guys. You're like, hey, yo, we're gonna do this. We're gonna steal the show. Like, you can go from like fucking around to just serious in like 2 seconds. You walk out, then it hits you.
Mm-hmm.
that adrenaline rush, the chills. You're looking at everyone. It's all eyes on you. And you're like, holy shit. Holy shit. And excuse me, like, for the laughing. My roommate's laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Solid guy, so shout out to him.
Right.
But, yeah, it's just, it's a surreal feeling because you get your game face. Everything's in that moment. You're the man. Everything's just, it's hard to put into words just because of how surreal it is.
For
I remember I talked about this with RJS. It's just like that feeling that you get a high off of it.
I know.
And I've done this, and I've done this like, I don't know how many times, maybe like 3 or 4 times at this point. And it's like, Jesus. And it's even better because like, it's like you're like in an actual wrestling show. Well, you are in a wrestling show, but like, you can like work
you have
the
a chance to
crowd.
experience it.
Exactly. You can be the guy that they boo, or you can be the guy they get rowdy for. Because like I remember, like I just start talking shit to the crowd. Like I'd say some stupid shit. Like I remember like October we did a live event, and I was like saying shit, and I was like, hey yo, the WCF, the longest reigning. I know we weren't gonna have another live show without the longest reigning WCF champion of all time. Then my friend Robert, he was in the crowd. He was like, something like you lost your touch, or you're washed up, get out of here. Because this was like October, like whenever I was like taking the hiatus from WCF, and I was like, I looked at him, I walked up to him, and I said, I hope your family dies. Everyone just laughed. They're like, oh, I got heat. I got heat, brother. I got heat. And I remember another time, I remember he was like talking shit, and I just kept flicking him off, and I started like, I beat up both of my opponents, and I looked at everyone, and I was like, I spread out my arms like the Jericho arms, and everyone was like, boo. That was a great feeling. Then I remember towards the end, like I hit someone with a move. They kicked out at 1, and my friend and like Robert was like, oh my God, you kicked that at 1, you suck. Then for whatever reason, I look at him and I said, hey, I'll go back to doing this. You go back to screwing your sister. Everyone, that's Kevin Owens' line, need I remind you, but
right.
Like playing the crowd, bottom line, greatest experience ever.
Yeah. If there is one thing you could change about backyard wrestling, what would it be?
I think one thing I'd change is the filming, because I think I remember I was listening to the Carson Michaels thing. He said how you'd have matches. He has matches going up now that were recorded from like last year in May. To me, I think being there every week with your buddies, every week, getting billed is probably one of the most surreal. Like not surreal. Like it's fun. I think it's fun to weekly record, have monthly pay-per-views that you record that same month. Because I feel like if you just, like, I mean, no disrespect to the other guys. I mean, what they're doing, it works. I mean, they treat it like a business. But for me, I think it's better to have all these fun moments. Because when you do it every week and you got everything, I think it's overall, like, a better feeling. But, hey, all power to them. But for me personally, I think that's one thing I would change. Because, like, I mean, you're there with your buddies every week, and you have, like, some of the funniest moments ever. I mean, like, sometimes we'd be in the middle of filming, and then they'd switch your actual theme music to fucking something stupid. Like, I remember one time I was making my entrance. I was super serious, and then suddenly it stops. Then Barbie Girl plays, and it's like, what the
Yes,
fuck?
I remember you told me that. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like all those little bullshit moments. It's like being there every week. It's fun. It's really, really fun. I think that's what makes backyard wrestling fun, is not more so the wrestling, but like behind the scenes, because that's whatever you bond with your guys. I mean, like, I remember there was this one time my brother was filming. I wasn't there, but like my brother was filming. Red X had just like gotten like tossed out of the ring. My brother, you just see the camera like go up and down. And my brother later tells me that he was fucking teabagging my friend as a joke. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, half the shit, there's so much shit that happens behind the camera.
For real.
It's just too ridiculous to just even come on and say.
I know. Like, for some channels, like there's some channels that are like serious, like plain serious. Then there's other channels where it's like pure goofy. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, if that's their way of having fun, then let them have fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then
Mm-hmm.
the way I see ACW, like we want to have like good matches, but we also want to have good content.
Yeah.
And like today, it's Saturday, March 19th, and we're gonna hopefully try to upload, or like since this Beyond the Yard episode is gonna be uploaded Wednesday, the return episode of ACW War is gonna be uploaded on the 20th on Sunday. So
yeah.
I know it's kind of confusing because I haven't uploaded yet, but once Beyond the Yard episode airs, that episode is already gonna be uploaded. But I know it's gonna sound confusing, but hopefully you guys would understand it. But in that episode, we filmed our match. It might not have been 100% perfect, but throughout the match, we kind of added, some, goof moments or some skits to it. Because keep in mind, like, we like to be in entertainment. I'm not trying to be like WWE, but like, I don't know if some of the guys from ACW agrees, but I always like to entertain the fans pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, do something that probably other channels haven't done yet, and get their asses laughing out of nowhere because we did like a stupid skit which worked. And hopefully tomorrow, if you do watch our return episode, hopefully you're like, what happens, because there's something funny that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because that skit is a part of the storyline, so it's kind of like you can't miss it when you watch it. Who would you say was one of the best wrestlers you ever worked with?
Okay, so I'd love to put all these guys number one because I think WCEF has some of the how do I say this? Not without being cocky. I think WCEF has really great talent. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I had top 5 in like no particular order, I'd have to put top 5, maybe top 6, because one of them was someone I never even wrestled before. I think number 1 would have to be Red X. I mean, I feel like it's everybody. Our buddy Mark.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's probably the best guy I've ever faced. I mean, like we had absolute bangers, and then we had an absolute classic for 30 plus minutes, no holds barred.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I remember I showed you. I mean, that match got fucking insane.
Okay.
Like, I remember there was the point where he has those bands like you work out with, like these little bands. He used it as like a strap, and he whipped the shit out of me.
Oh, crap!
Yeah, he whipped the shit out of me. And I remember there was a spot where I tried putting him in a Hell's Gate, and then he picks me up, slams me through a table. And then I remember I sent you a video. It was whenever we had a little sequence. He picks me up, puts me right through fucking thumbtacks. And that match was a roller coaster of emotions. It's like, it was great. It looked like you're about to lose the title that I was champion. I escaped. That's a good story. Number 2, I think I'd put Jacob Wayne. Because this was a guy I'd never wrestled before. Never wrestled before. Only had like a handful of segments. We had some segments, then we fought side by side. But this is our first time like fighting, like wrestling. Mm-hmm. And I think everything that happened that night was just 100% great. It was amazing. I wouldn't change a thing about it. Because just the chemistry, just the way we complimented each other in the ring, it was just probably some of the best we've ever done. Like, I had so much, I had a blast. Like, even the stories I just told you about, like, what happened that day. It's some of the most, like, it's memories for sure. I think number 3 would have to be my brother. His name's Nick. But on the channel, we call him Warrior. I think he's probably one of the most over on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
But back whenever, I remember we were little, we used to, like, play wrestle. But then, like, I think going in the ring, it's just like, oh, we're used to this. We're going to go and kill it. Because I remember our most viewed match on the channel was almost 7,000 views. And
wow,
it was a WC title match. It was against him. And I remember we had an absolute classic, a barn burner. Yeah, Nikki, I know you're listening to this. Just want to say, hope we get in the ring again. I'm gonna whoop your ass. Love you. You better be asleep, and I'll be listening to this during school. Or I'll fucking beat your ass. But anyways, I think number 4 would probably be my friend Matthew. I mean, Matt. He goes by Ace in WCF. He's probably one of the. Okay, so thing is, I knew I had to get out. I know I had to film the final weeks of Savior, like just for now. So I was like, I want to put over Matthew. I need to put over Ace. So we have a little like back and forth, or like we have like a little storyline where we're like, I'm the best in the world. No, I'm the best in the world. All right, we're gonna have a match that determines it's gonna be the best in the world showdown, Ace versus Savior. I remember and this is like a few days before I had to go to college because I live in a dorm, and we were like, okay, when we go out there, we're gonna kill it. So I knew I need to do this. I need to absolutely put this kid over, fucking have match of the night. I don't give a fuck. We're going to wrestle our hearts out, and we're going to put on match of the night, which I personally think Anarchy 2, Savior and Ace was match of the night. So I'd like to say he's probably one of my favorites to ever wrestle. One of.
Uh-huh.
I think I said 6, but I think those are like probably. I've only wrestled like WCF guys mostly, more so. So like, those are like, I forgot how many I've named, but those are the guys I would put that I just were some of my favorite opponents ever.
Mm-hmm. If you could join any other federation, I mean, I know you are in WCEF. I apologize. But if you could join any other federation in backyard wrestling, what federation would it be and why?
I think that's a good question. It's like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna come and tell you like I know everything about backyard wrestling. I'm not gonna say like I watch it all, because I don't. Like, I'm not gonna tell you that I know all these guys, or like I've followed these guys' careers. Other than Jacob Wayne, like I've really never really followed it much.
Uh-huh.
But I've been looking at BTW a little bit. I feel like that's a little cliche to say like, oh, I want to go to BTW. But if they ever came back and they wanted to give Savior a call, I would listen, and I'd say, hey, let's do it.
Okay.
That's probably one of the guys. Ideally, that's where I would want to go, because I feel like me too. Like me and RJS, me and Ryan, we're once I had that first conversation, it's been, well, we talk every now and then now, but we're
right.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes I'll be talking, be like, hey, what do you think of this idea for ACW? Be like, oh, I like it, like, I mean,
yeah,
he's just one of the guys that you meet and he becomes your friend from the yard.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of matches in the yard. Which one would you say? I mean, it's kind of pinpoint your favorite match, so I'll try to make it a bit easier. What would you say was your top 5 best matches in backyard wrestling?
Top 5. It probably won't be in any specific order, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
Go right ahead.
We already touched on Saber versus Red X. That's one of the best ones I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Then we also have to say Jacob Wayne, also my top 5. So the do or die main event. Red X is the WCF champion versus Saber versus Warrior. That match we had probably the biggest match up until that point. And I think it's one of my favorites because it's ever title match, the first ever triple threat with 3 WCF guys. The main event of do or die, I need to remind you. Okay. And I remember we all went into this. We had like spots planned. We had like a whole story plan. We're like, all right. Because like going into it, we were all really new. The end game, get Warrior as the WCF champion. So like the story, what led into it, I think that's got to be one of my favorite matches ever. And if you haven't seen it, any of you, especially you, Derrick, go watch WCF Do or Die main event. Saber Red X Warrior, absolute barn burner. If you have time. Number 4, I'd have to say, I think me and my brother the first time, just 1-on-1. I think that was probably one of my favorite matches ever. 2 out of 3 fall for the WCF title. It was the first like title match on pay-per-view. One of the first like pay-per-views back. It was called WCEF Resurrection. 30 minutes with my brother. Solid match. I hold that one dear to my heart because I remember I did endless cardio for that match and I was like going great. I think like the last one would probably have to be Ace versus Savior. Already went through that one, but I'll throw in one extra one. Okay, so we had a live event. I mean, that's how like we get money to like buy these belts and stuff, like the actual belts. It was Savior versus High Flyer versus Apollo Blade for the global championship. And that's whenever like I told you like that was me coming back after like a few months from college to like do it. Like, and fun fact, my friends from college actually went to watch the match. So it was fun. But that match itself was just really cool. Like a lot of spots that we did, like unplanned by the way, off the top of our head. Basically wrestle freestyle practically.
Wow.
I remember there was like a spot where I was doing the AJ Styles combinations, clean as fuck, and I followed that up with 2 knees to my friend Mark, and then he hits me with the Pele kick like the AJ Styles does, and it got a huge reaction. Like as soon as I hit the combo, everyone was like, "Oh shit!" Hit him with 2 knees, and then Pele kick, and everyone went, "Oh shit!" Like she got real. So not exactly top 5, but top 6. That's my top 6 favorite matches ever.
That's good enough. And this is just bonus question. Would you ever like to see Derrick Destroyer versus Savior?
Hey man, name the time and place. We'll figure something out. We'll run it in the yard.
You're right. I mean, never say never, especially in the yards.
Exactly. Like if it's something they want to see, if it's something that sparks interest in the fans, hey, I'm all game. Especially if you want to come to our turf, you want to come to WCEF, I have absolutely no problem with whooping your ass for 800 plus.
That's what's up. I mean, I don't mind getting my ass kicked, especially I drove many great distance. So yeah, I mean that sounds like a good idea to me. Hopefully, I don't think it through.
I will get through.
For real. But I believe I'm not saying it won't happen, but I believe it would be a good match. Derrick Destroyer versus Savior.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this because it's a question. I'm not saying this because it's a statement or anything. I can't say anything else because it hasn't happened yet. So I'm just going to leave it what if at the moment.
For sure. We'll leave it what if. What if Savior and Derrick Destroyer went at it? I mean, hey, well, if I can get the cardio back up, we'll tear the house down. Shake that ring rust off. We'll tear the house down.
For real. Because if you want to have a good match, then you got to have a good cardio.
That's oh my god, dude! I have cardio is. Oh my god! Like I remember, we did the match, the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, or like the live show. After the match, like I just mentioned, I was absolutely fucking dead after that match because my cardio was so bad. I was like, wrong, dude. Like, holy shit. And then
was it hot outside?
Okay. Hell yeah, it was hot outside. It was like maybe 90 degrees up in that bitch. It was bad.
Okay.
Like, exactly. And I had to go and like get enough height so I can do a cross body. I was like, fuck my life, dude. Like, why? And so whenever we did, so like in real time, we filmed the Warfare pay-per-view March 5th. I remember that whole month of February, I was like, I need to get my cardio up. I have to get at least 4 days of cardio in a week to survive this match. And so I did it. I got into the match, and I felt nice. I felt great. So cardio does wonders. Lifting weights does wonders for the backyard wrestling. Literally.
For real. I mean, I ride a lot of horses, and you need good cardio and good strength because if a horse is pulling you, because when you ride horses, the main thing is you have to work them out. You have to warm up their muscles, stretch their muscles out. So you could, because not only the horse is an athlete, but the rider is also an athlete. So keep that in mind, people that don't really understand horse racing business. But so in average, I ride about 11 horses every morning, except Sundays because people got to rest. So there's some horses that like to pull, so you got to hold them back. Because if a horse because people think when you take a horse to a workout, they think running around, but just because they run around doesn't mean you get the job done. Like there's different types where different speed works out for different parts of the muscle. Like if you work them out for fast, it helps up, pump their blood, breathe in the oxygen. But if you want a horse to like build more endurance, you have to take them long laps, but at a slow pace, so they could build more endurance. So as a rider, you got to have a lot of strength and endurance to hold them back because those are 1,200 beasts, and right now I'm a 120 pound person. Keep that in mind. And when I went to do my crossover in backyard wrestling last year, I was wrestling with people that are way heavier than me. Caution, I think 170.
Yeah. Oh God, that's a big way difference.
Yeah, and no disrespect to the Nature Boy Gage Flair, but he's a bigger dude than me. No offense, but he just is.
Yeah.
And compared to like I'm gonna be honest, I'm looking at myself in the mirror right now. I might not be big and muscular yet because I don't want to build up yet because I want to have a good horse racing run before in the future if things goes well. I might have a wrestling run if things goes all well. So I might have to do a Christian Bale. If you guys know who Christian Bale is.
Yeah, Batman. I got that Batman route.
For real. Because that dude, he's an amazing actor. He went from the American Psycho where he was all fit, then he lost a lot of weight and he was like pretty much like anorexic for like a film. Then he built a lot to play it as Batman. Then he went fat. Then he went Batman again. Like that's just crazy for a guy like that.
Oh yeah, man. It's like he's an absolute fucking lunatic. Like,
for real.
It's insane.
And speaking about lunatics, I'm gonna talk about the Joker, Heath Ledger. Rest in peace. He was a phenomenal actor. And what people should also consider is that you can't blame someone if they have this role. Like people when people first heard of that Heath Ledger was cast to play as a Joker, people criticized about that. People said, "Oh, he won't play as a good Joker." Now look at Robert Pattinson when he was first casted as Batman. People criticized him because he was just the guy from Twilight. But keep in mind that people that wrong actor. That Robert was also an actor for different movies and he played phenomenal roles. Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen The Batman yet.
Yeah, I did. I caught it the other week.
So hopefully everybody's seen The Batman. I'm going to not necessarily say it's a spoiler, but he did a phenomenal performance. Like, I believed he was Batman. Like, ever since after the movie, I started adapting his persona. I don't know why, but I just did. I was listening to Something in the Way. But, yeah, just never doubt the people that, just because people criticize you doesn't mean you should let them criticize you.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with that completely.
Yeah. And I know also we talked to this over the phone, but let's talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. Since this good.
Talk about it.
Let's change a different topic. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
For real. It felt like a great throwback.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like just seeing so like you had to be in a live theater whenever Toby and Andrew walked in.
For real.
So it was like
but you can't forget about Daredevil. You can't forget about Daredevil.
Oh yeah, for sure. You gotta know who he was too. Well, like me personally, I haven't seen Daredevil yet, but
I know. I mean, I haven't seen the show, but I'm very well known. Like I know Daredevil.
Mm-hmm. What? Just like I remember being in the theater, and me and my friends, and like the portal opened. They were like, "Peter." And
yeah.
I saw the suit, and I was like, "Wait, no." I looked at my friend Otto, and I'm like,
I noticed something was different because of the mask.
Yeah, like the mask, and I'm just like, no way, no fucking way. He pops in, he takes off his mask, the whole theater erupts, and we're like, holy shit, what the fuck? It's Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and like they do the little like thing, he comes to the walls, like yada yada, and it's like, find Peter Parker, and I'm like, okay, well Andrew's here, Toby's definitely gotta be here. And then Toby pops up through the fucking portal. I'm like, let's fucking go. I was screaming my fucking head off when that shit happened. And I was like, am I dreaming? Like, what the fuck?
I just have to apologize. I got interrupted by a call, and I don't know if you recorded or not, so I apologize for that.
Oh, no, you're chilling.
No, but you're at the part where Andrew Garfield, he came out of the portal and he removed his mask. You were at that part.
Yeah. So I'm just like, what the fuck? Holy shit! And then I look at my friend, and we're just like, okay, well, if Andrew's here, it's got to be Toby. And then Toby walks out, and we're like, wait. Toby pops out. I'm like, holy fucking shit! Let's go! Let's fucking go! Me and my friends were just ridiculous. We're fucking gone. And I remember like, fuck, I got chills. That whole movie was masterpiece. Fucking masterpiece. And like that movie made you feel so much. It made you laugh. It made you cry. It made you sad. It made you mad. I mean, that movie was a roller coaster.
I know, with emotions. Like, I'm gonna tell you my point of view when that happened. So, you know, they're calling for Peter. Then we get to see, you know, the Spider-Man figure, and it comes out. And when people noticed that it was the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, people were like, "Oh, what? No way!" But at the time we were watching it, the time that movie started was at 10. So me and my friends, we watched it really late. So one, not a lot of people took in our seats because we actually reserved 6 seats for our friends. But our original plan, we wanted to like go to the movie theaters as a Sinister Six, you know, as a joke. I thought it would be a cool thing because a lot of people in different movie theaters, they dress up as, you know, Spider-Man or Spider-Man's villains. But like they weren't as cosplay as me. I mean, I dressed up as Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 3, Venom. And it was a cool suit. I feel like Spider-Man, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I actually have a suit too.
For real. But, okay, so there was not a lot of people, but there was enough people to get, like, a loud reaction. So, like, when Andrew Garfield removed his mask, people were like, what? It wasn't like a, but, like, it was like, woo! Like a, not loud. To me, I give it a bit pop because it's Andrew Garfield. I mean, I never been full fan of his films. Not that I don't like his films. I've just never been interested, if that makes sense, compared to Tobey's Spider-Man. There's just something about Tobey's Spider-Man that I just click with, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's like, I mean, that movie is almost it's almost 20 years old. I mean, like I grew up, or the same month that movie came out.
Wow.
The 31st of May, I was born. So it's like I grew up with his movies. Like, it's insane. But like Andrew Garfield, I mean, like he's always been a really good actor. He's a really good Spider-Man. He's badass as Spider-Man, badass as Peter Parker. It's just the writing on these movies. I mean, I thought the Amazing Spider-Man 1 was like, it was there.
I mean, I guess people like didn't like it because I guess they weren't ready to see a new Spider-Man yet. Because at the time, people were looking forward for Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, because I know like it was supposed to come out like 2011 or some shit like that, and it got announced, and then they were like, "Oh, it's canceled," and it's like, "What the fuck?" Well, like I didn't even know, like me being a kid, I didn't even know Spider-Man 4 was a thing until like later on. I was just like, "What the fuck?" Like they were gonna make another one, and because like look, to me, Spider-Man 3 genuinely wasn't that bad. It wasn't even bad. Like I still think it was a really good fucking movie, a solid film, but I think just like
the director did its best. Yeah. He did his best.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the movie was good. I thought emo Peter Parker was fucking hilarious. But I think it, like,
especially at its time.
I think the movie went to shit, like, once, I think it got a little corny whenever it, like, had the part where fucking Harry gets amnesia, completely forgets the last 2 movies, and he's like, hey, my dad's dead, right? And it's like, what the fuck? Like, that's corny as fuck. Like, looking back on it, it's stupid. But, like, watching it in the moment, it was pretty good. But you know, that was kind of corny. It was whatever. But like the thing is, they had all these villains. They had all of these villains. So it's like, what the fuck? Okay, so like Goblin's out because he got amnesia. Then we got Sandman. Sandman's gone. and
Venom
now we
hasn't
got
came out yet.
yeah. Then we got Venom. Like, I think Venom. Topher Grace was a fucking horrid Venom. He was fucking horrid as Venom. But like, I think it's funny. I just think it's funny. It's like Eric Foreman from fucking That 70s Show was Venom. Like, it's
I
funny as shit
know.
to me.
True.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
he's
it's
not a
like,
bad Venom. Just people aren't customized to that Venom compared to the Venom we have right now with Tom Hardy.
yeah.
But I like that Venom from Spider-Man 3. I just wish it wasn't like forced or shoved into Spider-Man 3. Because from what I heard, Spider-Man 3 was supposed to be about, you know, Harry Osborn and, you know, the new Goblin, but it's also
Mm-hmm.
supposed to have, you know, the end story of Harry Osborn. But the main villain was supposed to be Sandman. And probably Spider-Man 4 was supposed to be Venom.
Yeah, but I remember I read somewhere it was like he originally didn't want Venom. Like, he just didn't want Venom in there whatsoever. But then,
For
like, the
real.
studio, like, forced them to put Venom in. And I'm like, it could have been so much better without Venom. And I know,
For
like,
real.
I looked up, like, other interviews and stuff, and I think it's like Sam Raimi was like, oh, I regret it. Like, not a day goes by where I don't think about it. I mean, like, yeah, man, Spider-Man 4, it could have been good, but I'm pretty sure that would have been the definitive end. But I mean, like, Spider-Man 3 was an okay end. I mean, like, it was okay. It was cool. But, like, but in No Way Home, it was like, okay, this could probably be the definitive end of, like, everything. So, like, it was nice.
Like, to me, like, Spider-Man 3, like, to other people, it could have been, like, an end. But to me, like, it kind of felt like there was some unclosure to other stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, like, for example, Dr. Connors, you know? He was
Yeah.
supposed to become the Lizard. I don't know how or when, but he was supposed to become the Lizard. Then you also have the Vulture, which he hasn't made his debut yet until Spider-Man 4. Also Black Cat. But did you know Mysterio was in all Spider-Man movies of Tobey Maguire?
Oh, I think it was supposed to be the, what's it called?
Bruce
The
Campbell.
ring announce. Yeah, him. That's what I heard.
For
It was like, that's
For
what the thing was supposed to be.
Because the story is that Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, they're best friends. Like, they're really good friends. I don't know if you've seen these movies, but there's a movie that's called Evil Dead. And it's a really good horror film. It's pretty much when Sam Raimi, early days of directing. So he was like a horror director. And if you didn't notice this, but Spider-Man is kind of like a horror film. You have the Green Goblin. You have Doc Ock when he wakes up from the hospital. Then you have Venom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has some horror elements. But now Doctor Strange 2?
Oh, I'm excited for that shit. I know, like, Toby's supposed to be in there, apparently.
I know.
I mean, like, I've read all this shit, and then they're thinking about, apparently, the Superior Iron Man with, like, Tom Cruise. They're going to have, I remember, like, someone was, like, looking in. They were like, oh, is that Deadpool? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are you going to get Deadpool in this shit, too?
I mean, it's a cool thing of, like, hearing rumors because, you know, we get interested. But imagine if we lived in a world where rumors wasn't a big deal compared to right now.
Oh, yeah, like, everything
like
gets leaked
No
nowadays.
Way Home. Like, imagine we saw the trailer and that's it. Like, we didn't make any big expectations or we didn't try to expose the truth. We're like, ooh, like, Andrew Garfield is confirmed because he's like that one picture where he's sitting down and has his hand on the rail.
Yeah.
Like, people try to spoil it around YouTube promoting it whatnot. But, like, imagine if we live in a world where we got to see No Way Home without any spoilers whatsoever besides just the trailer. And imagine just experiencing the whole movie without hearing any spoilers whatsoever.
We'd be living in a perfect world if that were the case.
For real. I know I forgot to state this when I told you about my theater, some reaction, but I cried when I saw Toby. Like, good God Almighty, because Toby, he's a Spider-Man icon, and not because of the memes, but I mean, he's just Spider-Man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, that movie was probably like one of the main reasons I cried in like fucking months. Like, it'd been months since I cried. Like, I think where the movie got me itself was like whenever Tom was like, whenever he was telling MJ bye, and it was like, fuck, bro. It's like he really gotta leave her. It's like, goddamn, bro, that fucking got me. So I was like, man, that's fucking sad.
I mean, I'm not trying to compare like which Spider-Man is better, but I like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man because he has no help, like compared to what's his name, Tom Holland. Like he's got a lot of help from Tony Stark. Like he got to like fix his suit. He got. I don't think he ever helped them with financial problems or whatnot, but like Tobey Maguire, he had to suffer like when he was dealing with rent problems. You know, Mr.
Yeah.
Divikovich. Like that guy, he's just a straight up meme. Like I can't watch a single Spider-Man trilogy without laughing because of the memes.
Huh.
Especially the part which is a nice callback in No Way Home when Norman Osborn he goes up to Tom Holland when he needs help. He's like, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Yeah.
Like that was a nice callback. But did you know Venom was supposed to be in it?
Yeah, because I know they had him. What's it called? They had him cameo at the end of Venom, and then they bring him back. He gets teleported back to his own universe, and then the symbiote gets left behind. So, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I know where they're going with it. Either like an Eddie Brock variant. Is it going to be an Eddie Brock variant, or it's just going to end up being Flash Thompson, like his Agent Venom?
Bro, I don't. When I see Flash Thompson, like, I thought he was a bully. I mean, I'm just saying this because of the Tobey Maguire series, but like, I always thought he was a bully, not like a nerd compared to the MCU Flash.
Yeah, they made him a goof.
I know, like, I thought I was the only one that noticed that. But one thing that I noticed that was kind of like an Easter egg to DC Universe, DC Comics, the book where Flash Thompson's whole Flashpoint,
Yeah.
which is the same thing in the Batman world. It's kind of like the multiverse, but instead of going to different worlds, they go back to the past where instead of Bruce Wayne becoming Batman, Batman actually died in the night where his parents were supposed to get killed. So his father becomes Batman and the mother becomes the Joker.
Oh shit! Really? Was that like an
Yeah.
actual story, or?
Yeah, it's an extra story. Well, it's an animated movie, but you can't go wrong with animated movies, especially with
Yeah.
DC. But
Yeah, you're right.
there are some cool Easter eggs throughout the movie. There were some cool actions. Like, we got to see Norman Osborn use a Batista bomb during the movie.
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh no, you mean what's it called? Are you talking about No Way Home?
Yeah, when he was fighting Tom Holland
Oh yeah, that was
in the
pretty
apartment.
insane.
Did you know they actually had a scene where Tom Maguire actually fought the Green Goblin in the movie?
Yeah, then they fucking took it out. I was just like, why the fuck would you not have them interact? It's like it's fucking stupid.
For real, like the only time they interact was when Green Goblin, stabbed Toby. But I feel like I wish they could have just interacted more.
Yeah, I think that's definitely like something they should have done because I mean that was Toby's first villain, and it's like what the fuck? Like you're not gonna go and capitalize after that? Like Andrew and the Lizard interacted. Tom
Uh,
Holland interacted with all of them, and then Toby didn't even do anything.
I know they
With,
couldn't. I know they couldn't bring James Franco to the movie because controversy. But I like the idea that they mentioned him
yeah,
because
that was
he
really
was
good.
for real. I mean, I liked Harry Osborn and Peter Parker's friendship. I thought that was a cool friendship.
Yeah.
But overall, that was one of the best movies I ever seen in 2021.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, like
Yeah.
Spider Man's definitely. If I had to pick between like Spider Man and Batman, like those are like my two go to. Like if it's not Spider Man, it's Batman.
For
But
real.
I think Spider Man No Way Home was a better movie than the Batman. And that's just me. I don't know if that's me being biased, but that's just how I feel.
I mean, I'm not saying this because I want to disagree with you. I'm not trying to say this because I'm trying to make this like a debate or whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, I always prefer Batman over any superhero because if you look at Batman, he doesn't have any superpowers. Sure, he may be
Exactly.
rich, but especially in the Dark Knight trilogy, like what I liked about that movie, like it takes place in a world where it could legit happen. Like it's so much realism into that movie. Like Batman is based in a realistic world where he doesn't have any superpowers, but he does have depression problems, where a lot of people do. And he's, dark, which I like, especially in the Batman, where, he likes to be in the dark a lot. He's not the billionaire playboy yet, because he doesn't know how to yet, because he's too busy learning how to be the Batman. But anyways, that's pretty much what I thought about the Batman and Spider-Man No Way Home. The last question that I want to say to you for Beyond the Yard episode: how would you rate your career in backyard wrestling?
How I would rate my career. I think I've in my own federation. Like, I think, I've held the title for 400 plus days. I held the fucking global title. I faced everybody. I've had barn burners.
You had great matches, like you said.
Exactly. I brought in Jacob Wayne and William Barker. Again, shout out to Jacob Wayne and William Barker. Some of the most down to earth human beings you'll ever meet. I do feel like I have some unfinished business. Well, not unfinished business. Well, I would say unfinished business in backyard wrestling. I feel like I still have a lot more to prove. I feel like I still have a lot more I want to do. I want to help build other stars in WCEF. I want to get all these new guys over as much as I possibly can. Because there's going to be a time where I'm like, they're going to ask me, hey, you want to do a show? No, I'm not going to do a show. I can't. I've got other things to worry about. But I have gotten asked, when are you going to, is there another, when are you going to come back? Are you going to come back? Is there going to be? But let me just say, Saber will be back. Saber will be back in WCF. Not as much as I used to be because of college, but Saber will 100% be back eventually. But I think outside of all that, it'd be really cool to do more crossovers for sure. I know I was supposed to go in there with me and Jack Delta. We talked about getting in there together eventually. Because spoiler, he was actually supposed to come to WCF. I know I'm allowed to say that now because he's not here. He's not wrestling anymore. But he was actually supposed to come to WCF eventually, have a run. We were gonna run Savior Delta, but he eventually, he had to call it a career because of some stuff. Like I said, he doesn't even know I'm saying this. Jack Delta, another one of the most down to earth human beings ever. I do know I have plenty more to prove. I want to show show the world that Savior is someone you shouldn't sleep on. I'm someone you shouldn't sleep on when it comes to backyard wrestling. I know it's kind of hard to prove it when you're in college most of the year and then you come back, but that's one of my main goals for this next run I'm gonna have. But I know that everyone's gonna be like, hey, what happens after the whole Warfare match? It's hard to say. It's hard to say where we go from here. But
I see.
All I'm saying is this. Any of you that listen to this, Carson or RJS or Swift or any of you guys, hey, want some? I'm all ears. Let's make it happen.
You heard the man. You heard Savior. If you want some, go get some. Any last words before we head out?
I just want to say thank you, Mr. Derrick, for having me on Beyond the Yard. This was a unique moment in my life. I never thought to be on a backyard wrestling podcast. It's just absolutely ridiculous to even think about.
I would love to have a talk show, but this is the closest that I will ever have to a talk show at the moment. So here we go.
Exactly. But thank you for having me. About all you, if you're watching this on your way back from work, on your lunch break, wherever, thank you for all your time. Thank you for watching WCEF. Thank you for listening to me and Derrick. I want you to do me a favor and hit a subscribe button on the channel. Plenty more content to come. What happens at Voltage? At this point, it's Wednesday. The 2 matches beforehand had already been posted. Had been posted. Don't miss the rest of it. Saber returns this upcoming Saturday in the Warfare match. Am I going to get my ass kicked? Am I green in the ring still? Am I going to do something fucking crazy? Check it out, WCF Warfare. And don't forget, he's not giving me anything to tell you this. Sub to ACW and keep on listening to these Beyond the Yard podcasts. This is absolutely surreal to be a part of. And wherever you're listening from, hope you have a good one.
Wow. I am shocked by that. That's huge props. Thank you, bro, for, also mentioning ACW.
Sure.
But, if it wasn't for you guys, ACW wouldn't be here because, we can't perform with an empty crowd. So thank you guys for watching ACW. Hopefully you enjoy the episode. I know I said I was going to upload it on Friday, but hopefully they uploaded it on Saturday. Keep enjoying the future content. Also, keep enjoying the Beyond the Yard episodes because you don't know who's going to be on Beyond the Show or Beyond the Yard. Who knows? Xavier might be back again.
Maybe. Strong maybe. Maybe at this point we'll be hyping up our long and hopefully long anticipated match. Jake fucking Xavier versus Derrick Destroyer. Maybe.
That is true.
Or I'll be coming back on to talk about how I just whooped Jacob Wayne's ass for the second time. Jacob, if you don't bring your pansy ass over to Poth again, I'm going to come find you. I'm going to whoop your ass. I promise you.
A call though on the podcast. Wow.
Nah, wow. We're beyond that. But again,
I know.
Beyond that.
Beyond the Yard. Beyond that. I just want to say thank you for being a part of Beyond the Yard. We love having you. Hopefully we could have you in the near future. Everybody that's listening to this, thank you for listening to Beyond the Yard. For all the people that want to be in the future episode of Beyond the Yard, just hit me up. That's the only way to be a part of it. If not, then, if I see that you're interested, I'll, give you a DM and I'll be like, hey, bro, you want to be a part of it? And you said, yeah, then let's do it. If no, then, oh, well. But enjoy the future episodes. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Right now, it's 12:22 at night. It's getting late. We recorded for almost an hour, probably more than an hour right now. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Everybody stay safe and have a good night. This is Derrick Destroyer signing off.